I don't think you need to be introduced to Joan.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah, I think actually this is the third time I'm hearing her present.
Yes.
The first two was, I think, for Farida, was it? Whom apparently I haven't yet met, but is much prettier and younger. And then the other one was someone else who is smaller and more dynamic. Her name is Larissa. So I don't know what qualities we're going to see here. My guess is we might find that she's perhaps wiser and more experienced and insightful.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think I find myself in one of the most unenviable positions of my entire lifetime. I mean, how does one follow an act that has been put forward by the past 14 presenters from DUT? Please give them a hand. And I have a presentation. The team will tell you she's totally OTT about presentations. But I actually thought, following your lead though, that I'd like to start by saying, what are the questions you want to ask? And if the questions you want to ask me are in the presentation, then I'll go to that part of the presentation. If the questions you want to ask me are not part of the presentation, I'll do my best to answer them. And if I can't, let's see if the rest of the Sesquitiza team can. Is that okay?
Thank you for that very open invitation. If you'd like to look on page 31 of your program, you'll see what she was intending to say in the abstract.
It has changed dramatically.
Ah, this is the dynamic life we lead. So please, any questions?
No, seriously, if there are any questions, because I really would like to speak to what is intriguing people or interesting people or people who find them challenging about the work that we want to listen to you. So we saw you.
At the back, yes.
Yeah, no, I just want to, I firstly want to state I'm impressed with the amount of students that you've got into action research. It's just, how did you go about getting these students, and yeah, what motivated you to say this is what you're going to do, and yeah, coming back to the paradigms, in what paradigm do you want to place these students, or do you feel they must just go with the flow?
Thank you. Very, very valuable questions, and yes, most of that is addressed. Could one of you please just record the questions? What motivated me? Where does this come from? What paradigms I'm using? Any other questions? Yes.
Yes, thank you. I would like to know, what is your concept of transformative potential? What do you want to transform, and whom do you think needs to be transformed?
Well, the short answer on that one is me. But thank you, yes, all sorts of other things as well. Anybody else? Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to go straight to, I'll go into you asked me what motivated me, Omar. This question that really, really has worried me for a great deal of time. I work in academic development. I have been working in academic development since 1997. And you know what? I don't know how many of you are in academic development. Could I just have a show of hands, just so that I know who I'm talking to? Right, very, very few of you. All right, I'll tell you about being an academic developer. The institution keeps asking you for the evidence of the fact that you're working. And you're the ham in the sandwich. You're the ham in the sandwich, because the point is this, that one's work becomes invisible. Why does one's work as an academic developer, well, my work as an academic developer often becomes invisible? Because of the position that I adopt as an academic developer. I absolutely refuse to impose on anybody. I develop those people who come to me and say, I'm bewildered, I'm confused, I'm working my heart out, nothing's happening, I don't know what to do. And my response is, all right, let's talk about it. Do I then say, you must this, you must that, you must the next thing? No. I say, what are you doing? Let's look at what you're doing. You look at what you're doing and ask yourself, what else can you do differently so that it works better? So I become invisible. I hope you can see that. All right. Now, in that was a snigger, Right, and you see, I found myself asking this question. Not simplistically, believe you me, in the midst of a great deal else. And I'd just like you to read through that question, and if there's any part of that question which resonates with your practice, professionally, please put your hand up. If there's any part of that question which resonates with your situation, please put your hand up. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's our reality, isn't it? Or some part of it is everybody's reality. Now that was my reality. Delicia, who is not here, and who very much wishes she was here and sends her very best wishes, was my director at the time that I was thinking through this. And she kept on saying, in her totally non-negotiable way, what's your impact? Right? And she really meant it. Produce evidence. I kept on saying, I don't know, I'm doing the best I can. I'm working my heart out. I'm permanently exhausted, but I'm invisible. I could have changed my position. I could have become imposing and saying, there will be staff development workshops every year, and so on. But I just know from experience that doesn't work. It just chases people away. Right, so this is what my question was. Amara, and I'm beginning to answer your question. Good. Right. And this is what, I can't even say I thought it, huh? It came to me. It came to me in fractured bits, and I suddenly realized, and not without influence, I must please say that I've had very, very strong influences by way of input, not least of which Jack. And in actual Jack, I met Jack in 2006, along with Jean at the Novartis Institute in Cape Town, and at that stage, Jack was impressing upon me the need for multimedia publication or publicizing, making public of the work that we do. I'm a slow learner. I'm getting there. Right, and Jack will forgive me. But I was listening to Jean and Jack talk about action research. I then had the great privilege of visiting Bath University in 2008. And then last year, Jack actually managed to spend a week at DUT. And it was just an incredible experience, because it was so incredibly encouraging and empowering. So I'm hugely influenced. But this actually came to be somewhere in the middle of 2008. Thanks, Robs. And that was the answer to my question. Look, there's the question. And it's a multi-layered question. How do you bring all these things together so that you actually, as I called it in the Heltasa conference last year, targeting 3 academic birds with 1 scholarly stone, because that's what it was at the end of 2009. How do we get into the classroom and transform the practice of learning, teaching, and assessment? How do we get into the curriculum and create a curriculum that the learners can recognize? Because one of the other things I do is indigenous knowledge systems and ethnoscience. And simultaneously, not separately, simultaneously increase the number of master's and doctoral graduates in the higher education institutions, which are calling loudly for the raising of academic qualifications in higher education. I hope you can see that I'm heavily influenced by Boyer. Scholarship Reconsidered. And if you don't know it, please buy it, please read it, please keep it next to your bed. May I humbly ask? It is, what I love about Boyer is that it's short and simple to read. And I'm not suggesting that anybody here is not capable of reading scholarly documents. We are all overworked. There are not enough hours in the day, and there's not enough energy left at the end of the day to deal with heavy stuff. So if it comes to me in an easily digestible package of 124 pages in 2-syllable words, I'm a fan for life. And that's Boyer, right? How many of you know Boyer? Yeah, please, he's just, I think he's just marvelous, all right? And what I found there was that if we get people, and you see this tied up with Living Theory's methodology, how do I improve my practice? So if I improve my practice in my classroom, and I improve my practice in my curriculum, and I embed that in my postgraduate studies for my master's or my doctorate, can you see? It's a winner.